everybody. Welcome to Aware and Care, your weekly medical program, Ayurvedic perspective for your health, well-being, physical and mental. We are welcome Dr. Ambika Nair, the co-founder and chief consultant of Shantigram Group of Companies. They have offices here in New Jersey and also they do virtual consultation across the globe. During the pandemic, of course, you know, there have been certain protocols to follow, yet the doctor has been very busy. And in that busy schedule, she gives us time every week to give us some great advice and information during this program, Aware and Care. Let's welcome Dr. Ambika Nair to the show. Namaskaram, Doctor. Welcome to Aware and Care.
Thank you, Madhavi. How are you doing?
Very good, Dr. Nair. Thanks to all the tips and suggestions and home remedies that you give with all discretions and advices followed. I think I'm doing far better. And of course, to help our viewers, we have another episode today. Blood is a very important aspect of our being. You know, we see blood, we faint, some of us, but blood test is so important. And, you know, every aspect of blood, if I go, I think it'll go into a different aspect. But when we see blood, which is, you know, coming out of the body due to unnatural causes or suddenly out of injury or non-injury, we all get into a panic mode. One of the most common factors, I think 60% of Americans, I think faced with this condition, sometimes minor, sometimes a major condition, is nosebleed. There's always a panic mode when somebody has a droplet of blood coming out of the nose. Now, we want to understand what are the various factors and reasons behind that. How serious is this condition? How chronic is this condition? And why does it happen? So I think it's called epistaxis.
Yeah, that is in modern medicine, it is called epistaxis. And, you know, in Ayurveda, we call it as Nasagata Rekta Pitta.
Wow.
Or
Okay.
Naksir. Yeah,
So
it's a condition, you know, which the blood is contaminated by the vitiated kapha and rekta, and has gone to, you know, like it will come out, you know, like upward movement actually. And it will be eliminated through the nasal passages.
So what is an upward movement?
Because the blood, you know, like you see, normally it should go down, you know, so here it will be going up. So that is, you know, because this is one of the causes of the Rekta Pitta.
Oh, okay.
Like a bleeding, you know, it is a cluster of bleeding disorder. One of the cluster of the bleeding disorders, actually.
Okay. Now, before we understand the different types of nosebleeds that we have to start getting into the panic mode, more importantly, the cure mode, what kind of body types or composition of bodies do most often people see? Or is it everybody experiences that once definitely in lifetime?
No, that is actually because mostly it is seen in the children. Especially, you know, when they do the nasal pickup, like the nostrils are like, you know, they will be picking up the nostrils a lot. Dryness, when there is no humidifier, very dry, you know, like a little, there are, you know, like a sinusitis also one of the reasons.
Okay.
Very chronic sinusitis, allergies are there. Children, you know, like they will always like suffer like that only.
So, based on what you just mentioned, I think most often we see this, you know, people running to ERs or to the doctors mostly during spring due to pollen allergies and all allergy seasons, and also during winter when the air is very, very dry. Now, apart from these two reasons, and also apart from children, do adults also face these conditions? Because somebody is just watching a movie and somebody watches that, you know, hey, there's a tricklet of blood coming. Why would that happen out of the blue suddenly?
They may be having, you know, like especially the elders, you know, like the use of aspirin, like hemophilia also, blood thinners, and they may be using some anticoagulants and all, and chemical irritants. Sometimes, you know, overuse of ammonia.
Okay.
Some people will have like a cocaine use of like so much of antihistamines. And using, you know, like drops in the nose continuously. Some people with a deviated nasal septum also will get it. Sometimes it can be there is an injury, foreign body in the nose. Using of so much of nasal sprays, you know, to treat the allergies. We have seen a lot, like, you know, people come like that, you know, like.
Now, this becomes really concerning in so many aspects, because you just mentioned about antihistamines. You also mentioned about
aspirin. Yeah.
So, there is so much talk about aspirin. I know that could be a completely different episode of, you know, Aware and Care. Now, when somebody is seeing a droplet of blood coming from the nose, I think these are some of the factors they need to first judge see what is happening. Doctor, you also mentioned about irritants like, ammonia. And I think the more and more use of, room fresheners and, bathroom cleansers or
Yes,
that has,
especially this chlorine, like all those things, because we are detergents, some detergents and all, because of the high smell also, it can also, yeah.
so that is
Sometimes it can be hereditary also.
okay. Now there's a hereditary factor also.
Yeah, sometimes, like some cases are there like that. And, like sometimes with the thrombocytopenia also, leukemia patients also,
Mhm.
with the blood pressure,
Okay.
nasal polyp also,
Mhm.
paranasal tumors, sometimes there can be some tumor over there. So this all can, cause like that.
So before we get to the treatment mode of it, there's one more question that comes, like you mentioned about chlorine. So we also see that a lot of swimmers also face this problem. Is it just age related or just because of the water? Condition?
No, because they may be using some, like a maybe on the medical aspect also.
Okay, that's also there.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about epistaxis, that is basically nosebleed. It could be minor, it could be major. Of course, we don't want it to go to a major level. So we will try to understand at the initial phase as to why this problem is and what are the various conditions. Now, doctor has just explained that what are the various reasons why this could happen. Now, I'll try to understand the anatomy of the nose and understand where exactly this nosebleed happens. Does it happen in the starting, in the end, or, in center?
No, sometimes, the blood vessels will be there, like not only because they get very dried up, and there's overblowing of the nose. If something has gone in, children will always, they feel so irritated and they will be blowing it. Too much, like a hard blowing. It should be very soft, actually, very lightly only you should not, because it can rupture the blood vessels over there. And picking up of the nose. And some, that the what you call like irritants will be there, so much of like mucus will be adherent in the nostrils.
Okay.
So when they pick up, that it is minor bleeding only will be there. Sometimes it can be major also. But if the bleeding is there for like more than 15 to 20 minutes only, you should panic. Not only panic, like if it is there for a long time, like repeatedly it is coming only, you should worry and you should go to the, like a medical doctor.
Attention. Okay.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned about blowing the nose, because there is always this feeling when you have the common cold, your head is heavy, the sinus is very high. So people assume that blowing your nose is going to relieve that tension from the head or from the ENT. But that is actually not true in many cases. No, doctor, it is
No,
just...
they should do, like a nasal congestion. It is, frontal sinus will be there. Very chronic sinusitis. They can take steam.
Steam, okay.
With the turmeric actually. So that will help a lot. Even tulsi is there. There are so many ways, like, yeah. So that we can use it. Yeah.
So let us understand the worst case scenario in nosebleeds. What is the worst case scenario that you have seen that, somebody who has neglected, chronic nosebleeds because they feel it's just a droplet, it must be my nail that has pricked, and they have not paid attention. And what could be the worst case scenario for somebody who's not paying attention to the nosebleed?
That is really a medical concern.
Okay.
Actually, maybe some other disease will be there or some tumor or something like that, So yeah, that is a medical concern.
That is a medical condition. So now let's also start understanding how this entire process is treated, because do these people who have chronic nosebleeds, let's also not take the minor cases, but mediatory cases who have chronic nosebleeds, do they have problem breathing or do they have any problem with the smell also?
See, if it is like, nasal polyps are there or anything, if the blood is like too much, accumulated in the nostrils, they will have breathing issues. And if too much bleeding means, like they become very weak, they should take a lot of water. And they should, first aid itself is that, like sit straight and bend your nose like this, pinch your nose like this. Especially on the soft part, you can do it for like 15 to 20 minutes. You can see slowly it stops. And whenever you are sneezing, you should always open your mouth and sneeze so that, all the, blood accumulated, it will just come out.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will be all accumulated there. Some days, they ingest also, they swallow also. Then, that they vomit out. Complications are there actually.
Very interesting that you just mentioned two things. One, doctor, I was always assuming that when there's a nosebleed, people ask you to put your head behind, but you just mentioned that to put it forward and close it.
Not behind, it will all get, they never do like that, but sit straight and do, just tilt your head like this. That's all.
That was something different that I learned
Yeah.
today. The other thing,
Yeah.
because of manners today, always manners has always been part of our lifestyle. But when you're sneezing, I have noticed, and we all also go through that experience where we try to shut our mouth and sneeze. And you said that is definitely not a good thing
No, in this condition.
in this condition.
Yeah.
Okay, so now understanding the more part of the treatment in this, what kind of remedies are provided at Shantigram for somebody who has chronic nosebleed?
See, because whenever it happens, but what first aid you can do at home, that is more important in this case. Shantigram will come later.
Mhm.
Okay. So what, you can sit like this, pinch your nose, and if it is not bleeding, you can even put little bit of coriander juice because it has a cooling effect, and you can put in the nose
Mhm.
on a cotton, and
Mhm.
even sugar.
Mhm.
Just, little bit of, put little bit of water in that, and, smear it, and you can apply it in the nose so that it will help to stop the bleeding actually. And when
said-
people will,
When you said coriander juice, we're talking about coriander leaves, right?
yeah, coriander juice, that is from the leaves of the coriander, fresh coriander leaves. Yeah, that will help a lot.
Yeah, please continue. Yeah.
Okay, when they come to Shantigram, because they will always come with a chronic case.
Mhm.
They were bleeding for a long time. So, we will always see the pulse and diagnose them properly. So that is the Nadi Pariksha, whether it is with the sinusitis, we have to see the root cause of the problem.
Right. Mhm.
So, if it is like a chronic sinusitis, we'll be giving them like a Nasya treatment.
Mhm.
And, sometimes in the hearing also, they will have issues with this.
Mhm.
Accumulation means, so then we will be giving the special treatments for that actually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's-
Then medicines are there, diet is there, what precaution they should take. This all we will be making them understand.
Okay. Now, during the nosebleed, I see somebody also putting a question here that during nosebleed, how is the mouth and the eyes or the ears affected? If it is a chronic case, do these organs also get affected because of this?
Because if they sit like this, everything will go inside.
Oh, that's what
Yeah.
it is.
So that is little dangerous situation, no?
Absolutely. So basically,
Yeah.
if you have a very chronic condition, I'm sure you have already approached a doctor and you're seeking all kind of medications and remedies. But today we're talking about an Ayurvedic perspective, what remedies are available for chronic, nosebleed, epistaxis, and of course there are variations to the nosebleed, like Dr. Nair just mentioned. So, Dr. Nair, what about people thinking about icing around the nose?
Icing, of course, icing you can keep, on a, like a sterile, like a towel or something that you can, keep on the top of your nose so that, bleeding will stop.
Okay. And is epistaxis also to do with any other, thyroid or diabetes or cholesterol or those kind of underlying conditions because of it? You did mention about blood pressure. I do understand that. But apart from that, is there anything that has always alarmed you and said, the patient has not
Not
observed?
with the thyroid. I never saw anybody bleeding like that.
Okay. So today we're talking about epistaxis and understanding why this condition comes and what are the options from the Ayurvedic perspective and what kind of treatments are available. Dr. Nair has just mentioned a couple of home remedies that you can immediately first try to calm yourself and not panic. And of course, treatment is also available. Now, Dr. Nair, Panchakarma, or even you mentioned about nasal drops. We see that when people buy nasal drops, they are using it much more frequently than it's required. Is there extreme conditions or there is limited conditions to use nasal drops?
See, actually, like they should take the advice of a doctor. How often it has to be used actually. If overusing of anything, it will lead to complications only. See, when they, like people come, because you can see, all the crust formation will be there sometimes. It's very difficult, because you have to soften it actually, that area. That's why the steaming is given, like not like so much, like over, like using of all this. We make them understand what they were doing wrong. what diet they were following, what all they were, medicines also, what all they were using. So
Okay.
this all we have to make them understand.
Right. So, doctor, you just mentioned about that, the crust. So, I've also heard that, when nasal drops are just oil, so people try to use home oils, whatever it is available to apply. We just have to stop them from doing that, or we just
No. They can always use even petroleum jelly. Understand? No? Little bit they can apply.
Okay.
Even ghee can be used. To see whatever home remedies, they should have. Home is the place where you can always take care of yourself. If you cannot take care of there only, then they come to the doctors, right?
Yes. And yes, anything in extreme is definitely not recommended, especially you're putting it
Yes.
inside your nose. And petroleum jelly doesn't mean that you just have to stuff your nose with a lot of jelly, that you just have to moisturize it a bit. Because Dr. Nair, whatever we suggest and talk, people always go to the extreme levels and saying, Dr. Nair or anybody suggested. It's not only about you, it's about whatever we pick from the videos that we think that, okay, this is home remedy, it should solve all the problems. These are temporary solutions and reliefs. Now, Dr. Nair, what kind of precautions can we take to avoid this condition? What kind of foods should be included in our food, daily habits?
Actually, when the bleeding is there, don't use anything hot.
Hot, okay.
Yeah, only cold.
Hot as in the, is it hot, like a hot tea, or you're talking about foods that have heat?
Even any food, it should not be, it should be little cool.
Okay, can you give some examples like cool foods? Cucumbers or...
no, not cucumber, ice creams they can have.
Oh, ice creams they can have, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, very cool things.
Okay. So you're saying anything hot should be taken at that point, something cool should be taken. Okay, but in a daily food habits, what is the food that helps to keep the breathing and
that they should have a, like a balanced food, actually, lot of vitamin C. So orange is available here a lot. So drink, eat oranges, drink orange juice. That's very nice, actually. All, like food, everything is available, but open your eyes and see what is there.
So, but nosebleed also affects the respiratory system, or it's just an
Of course it is. That's why sinusitis.
Oh.
Breathing issues will be there. And if they lost so much of blood, they will get a palpitation and all. They will feel so fatigued.
Vertigo also.
So hydration has to be more, like they should take a lot of water. That's why juice is always given to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of breathing exercise? I know we talk about pranayam. How do you exercise your nose and keep it healthy and avoid all these,
only breathing, pranayam only will help.
Only
and Anulom-Vilom, like that they do it. Yeah, that will help. That is all therapeutic yoga, when they come to,
exactly,
person comes, we always advise, even after the therapy, what they should continue so that they don't fall sick. It's not only that the Panchakarma, you come, you do it and they run away. So we always advise them how to keep themselves, healthy by taking care of the diet and therapeutical yoga, everything.
Okay. Breathing is an integral part of our life. We start breathing, it's done. But the point is today, when we are breathing, when you do the pranayam exercises, or when you understand how your breathing pattern is, Dr. Nair, I'm sure you can add more to that. We realize that we are not breathing completely. We're just taking small breaths and just surviving. But when pranayam and these kind of nostril exercises are done, we realize how much is the capacity of our lungs and how much we actually need to breathe.
Yeah, we use very little only.
Okay. Now, we also see that regular exercising or jogging or walking in cold air also sometimes we get nosebleeds. How do we take care of that?
You have to cover your head, like whenever you plug your ears, cover your head, especially now winter is going to come, So, like in order to keep yourself healthy, cover your head when you go out. Plug your ears. Even when you lie down also, like when you go to bed also, you can plug your ears.
So there are two types, no, Dr. Nair? Extreme heat also can bring, like summers also, some people have
humidifiers. So that's why humidifiers are used.
Ah,
yeah, that is more important actually. Everybody is using, especially in US, it is 100% needed.
Viewers, today we were talking about epistaxis, that is nosebleed, different variations of it, and of course, home remedies are definitely part of our lifestyle, but it's an extreme condition. And after trying all aspects, you can always try the Ayurveda form. And that's when we talk to Dr. Ambika Nair in this program, Aware and Care. Dr. Nair, any aspects of epistaxis that we have missed and you would like to add in your final words today?
Yeah, I will tell about the complications, if you really, if the blood is accumulated over here, sometimes, we
Mhm.
forget.
Mhm.
Breathlessness will be there. Severe headache will be there.
Okay.
Okay, heaviness. They won't be able to focus properly. Confusion.
Mhm.
And sometimes even vertigo can come. And we have seen some cases, so much of contaminated, blood and pus was there. So the mucus was accumulated there. And even some, in very few cases, maggots can also come. So that is also
Okay.
very, very, very complicated cases. So see that, when you have a nosebleed, that everything is removed, don't allow it to stay over there. That's why, we have to either spit it out if it is coming in the mouth or, just to remove the clots.
Okay. Now, Dr.
Yeah.
Nair, I know before I have a closing round of the conversation, I want to touch base on a very important aspect. People, when we talk about hygiene, they pluck their nostril hair. And also we want to talk about injuries related nosebleed. So let's touch base on these two and then have a closing statement.
Yeah, injuries, that you especially, trim your nails.
Mhm.
And even in the children, the parents should see that they don't grow the nails actually in these conditions.
Okay.
Removing the crest, Madhavi, that is what they do. They feel some, like a block over there, they try to remove it.
Okay.
They'll be putting something, like the children, we don't know what they do.
Mhm.
So that hygiene has to be maintained. Otherwise, 100% inflammation will be there, infection will be there.
Okay. When you talk about hygiene, we also want to talk about hair in the nose. People have this habit of plucking their hair. I know it sounds very gross, but people do.
Trimming should be there.
Trimming has to be done with proper.
Yeah, trimming only, not like plucking means it's not good. Yeah.
That's the beauty of this human body, that, when it is all perfect, it's all beautiful and nice. And once a little discomfort comes, that from pus to mucus to pain to blood, everything comes in, and then you find what's wrong with this body. Well, there are many things, underlying causes. And today we spoke about epistaxis. Thank you so much, Dr. Nair, for this episode on nosebleed. And I think it's very timely episode, as you just mentioned that fall and winter is here, and we will have more and more of dry air around. And we would see more cases of it. To avoid it, we should just have humidifiers also. Thank you so much, Dr. Nair, for your time. And we look forward to the next episode with you here on Aware and Care. And friends, like, share, and subscribe the episodes. Every time a new episode comes in, you are the first one to view it, and you can always share it with all the other friends. Thank you.